Last time we checked, America is on fire, but we'll get to that in a little bit. To the power plant!
Didn't we say that last time?
Wait, what? No, we did not?
I'm fairly
Wait, no,
certain.
I think... No, because I made the California joke for, Mighty Number 1, didn't I?
That would mean we've said it more than twice.
Wouldn't be the first time that happened. Like me discussing different enemy types in Sonic CD literally happened in part 1, 3, and 5. I don't understand how I managed to mess that up, but you know. Also, I just remembered that this is, well, the dialogue in this stage is not good in a weird, unique way. What it seems to imply is that originally Dr. Sanda was supposed to come with you because he's complaining about being scared of the lights. Except it has been established that he is back at the lab.
Yeah, when I saw that in the last video, and I was like, okay, so are the lights going on and off at the lab as well? It's weird.
Unless the lab happens to be powered by this very specific power plant, in which case, how are we even communicating? Well, I mean, I guess, you know, wireless technology.
I mean,
phones.
that doesn't make any
The point
sense. That doesn't make any sense because the lab is like everything's established as happening all over America, right? Like in 5 different places.
You had a lot of different places, but infecting robots, not necessarily normal non-AI systems.
Okay, so that's even more confusing.
Well, remember Dr. Oh, wait, did we play... Oh, no, we haven't played Mega Man 10 yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I originally had that planned, but didn't go well.
Things change.
It's just story... It's just like story of my life with any Mega Man playthrough at this point.
Basically.
I still... Man, I want to get to 20... Oh, right, and there's now 30XX coming soon. There's just so many things that I want to get to.
Yeah, 30XX, that's the Mega Man Z, not Mega Man Z, Mega Man X.
Mega Man Zero, more inspired ones.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, so... Yeah. Also, since we're getting a thing of, a glimpse of Dynatron's voice here, I have to say that, like, when I originally... Oh my god, please die. Yeah, when I originally, heard the Japanese... Oh wait. There's another room? Whatever. The point is, when I originally heard the Japanese voice for her, I was like, oh, this works. And then I heard the English voice making buzzing puns. I'm like, oh, wonderful. Of course it does. That's exactly what we need.
I mean, what would you expect?
I don't know, something that isn't funny to 5-year-olds?
I mean, you watched the anime fans on prom night trailer, and then expected more?
Oh,
That trailer's amazing,
also,
by the way. That
there's
trailer's
like 1,000
fantastic.
things going on right now. Basically, Brand just destroyed a whole bunch of weird moth creatures on the outside. Don't know what they are, but if you play the level without Brand showing up, if you don't save Brand before this, they don't do anything. They're literally there and they don't do anything.
Yeah, so they're there to be broken. They don't have to do something they just have to do something in that specific instance to be interesting. They don't have to do something all the time.
What are you talking about?
And some background element is useful in this specific instance and is basically inherent in another instance. That's fine.
Well, no, because what's supposed to happen, oh man, is that the Mighty Numbers eliminate certain stage hazards at least once during your escapade throughout the stage in which they're which the mighty number is weak to. But the thing is that for this, and I think in one other instance, the stuff that they're allegedly helping out with was never a threat in the first place if you do play it just normally.
Okay, so it's sounding more like they didn't have time to finish that mechanic, and oh, he'll take out some background elements.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, we could talk about the potential of unfinished stuff all day long, and unfortunately, it would still be. You know what? Thinking about it, especially since you know about this more about this than me, what are the people behind Mighty Gunvolt doing?
What do you mean exactly?
Like, okay, is it like completely way forward stuff now, or why did I run right into that? What's going on?
I think you're still getting. They made a Switch port. It still got some updates semi recently, but I think they just
Because I know
focus.
that they're working on Azure Striker Gunvolt 3 now. So I just like have to wonder.
I'm sure Mighty Gunvolt Burst 2 is inevitable. I'm sure of it, but I'm not sure what they're going to do.
Or was it something else? No, it was Mighty Gunvolt, then Mighty Gunvolt Burst.
I'm not sure what they're going to do because Mighty Gunvolt was all about Gunvolt and Beck in Gunvolt stages, and now it's Mighty Gunvolt Burst is Gunvolt and Beck in Beck stages. So maybe
Which means that the only thing left is for Gunvolt and Beck in Galgun stages, like in the original.
yeah, that's honestly that logically.
How is that even going to work?
I don't know.
Are there going to be There are going to be android girls who have problematic programs that make them fall in love with everything and try to take over. I mean, that sounds kind of like one of the plans of that weird hermaphrodite-ish robot thing. I don't even know if that was like it was naturally like that. No, of course not. Wait, whatever. That villain in the first game sounds like another one of their plans.
I mean, they're probably gonna just make new stages set in that world that logically could fit in a Mega Man game.
Yeah, but it's... Wait, what the heck is that? Oh god, please tell me this is what's happening is not actually...
So it's you! You've come for my power? You want to take it from me?
Alright, okay. So, a whammy of things just happened.
Right.
So first off, I just got a low battery thing on my mother's phone, which I'm using to record right now. And then I pressed the button to go check how low it was. But the button instead that I did press, because, you know, the buttons on this phone are kind of weird, was actually the Google Assistant button. And it turned off the recording. And so I have just gone back and started another recording again.
It's fantastic.
Oh my gosh. Like, can there ever just be peace in my life? Just, come on. Am I doomed to never have any kind of peace while playing a Mega Man-esque game? Does that mean... I mean, that's horrible considering, like, the Mega Man Zero stuff that I want to get to eventually. Because Mega Man Zero is hard as balls. I mean, if I take the collection, I at least can have save points. So, you know, that's nice.
Yeah.
But that also reminds me that one problem with our channel, I guess, is that we've taken so long to do the X series that just like me doing the X series at this point, even if I do the Buster only thing that I always do for normal bosses, it just won't be interesting by itself. which means
Right.
that I'm going to probably have to make that like a smug plays or something. But you also won't know the story,
Right.
which you kind of need to know for Mega Man Zero. It's very important, you know.
It sounds like. But, I mean, you figure it out clearly.
Yeah, I guess, but it's also a lot of work because that's 8 games up until Mega Man Zero. I mean, Mega Man X games are not very long. Um, it's just I'm not used to. They're more complicated in how the power-up systems work, and so I just don't know if I'm overthinking it. But it just sounds like so much of a hassle when I think of how to get certain armor upgrades in X5 or something. Especially X6. I really don't want to touch X6, but it's there. I mean, technically, only up to X5 is canon. So, you know, there's at least that. I don't have to play X6 if I don't want to.
For sure, you don't. Yeah. It's always something to be aware of. You can't just not do something.
Yeah, especially since X7 is also a garbage fire and just terrible in every single way. X8 though is, from what I hear, actually kind of good. That's a lot of decisions I'm going to have to make in a bit.
Yep.
Oh,
But
I forgot about the sparks on the floor.
in the meantime, you're able to relax. Well, not really, but relatively.
Eh, honestly, counting the special project that I have in mind for October, after that, I haven't like planned out anything concrete because I still need to know exactly where I'm going with a new computer first before I make sure of anything. So I only have like some plans for certain Smug Plays stuff. Hopefully we can get Lost World going, so I can finally get that off. And it's just, there's a lot of things I have to consider. And unfortunately I don't have a board. Well, I say unfortunately, but really the fact that I decide everything almost completely by myself is both a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
I mean, either way, the point is that there is supposed to be like a huge overhaul that's supposed to come soon. Not only that, but I explicitly have been making new thumbnail stuff. Have you actually seen them come up though? Because I think there's a problem.
Yeah, I actually don't think. Have I seen the new thumbnails? Have you
I put
uploaded
up the
new?
Mega Man ones, um, and just like, you know how it seemed that YouTube finally got rid of that stupid thing where they were like, okay, we're not gonna show anything, if it was uploaded after the video was processed instead of during.
They,
It seemed to go fine, but then when I went out into Creator Studio afterwards, there was just, it didn't show it. And I was just thinking, okay, maybe it just hasn't processed it yet, but I'm starting to think that something's gone wrong. And if that rule is back in effect in some case, that would mean I have literally wasted my time and made all those thumbnails for nothing.
that'd be terrible.
Oh my gosh. Is it me or... Okay, because I'm like seeing my performance here, and I'm like, I know like I'm not the best here with like anticipatory stuff, but I'm making a lot of plays that I'm regretting. Like I can almost like just like remember me just doing this and saying, "Oh, wait a minute, this isn't gonna work." It's kind of embarrassing, honestly. I mean, if luckily again I knew about the extra lives thing, because if I just went with the default 2, I'd have to go through the entire stage again at this point.
Yeah,
And I
there's some classic mechanics that don't need to endure. Some of them do. Like top-down Zelda
well,
games still deserve to exist, and Pokemon should still be in 2D. But things where you die and you have 3 lives and you start over everything, it does get annoying.
Well, the problem is unless your game is one of those like Rayman-esque games, where it's the challenge is like really hard, but you have a lot of checkpoints. Unless it's one of that, it's hard to adequately um say that. Wait, it's hard to adequately put it in a way where just like you need to put an incentive for not screwing up so much.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because people say that you lose coins in Mario Odyssey when you die, and I don't. Does that sound? I guess I have to play the game to see if that's a
Yeah,
good
I
enough.
don't know enough of context of the game, and I kind of want to keep it that way, to say if that works or not. But it is interesting. The thing, though, oh, finally we're done. The thing, though, is that there are so many things that just like a game over is no different from losing a life anyway, other than there being a game over screen.
And for some reason, that I also don't like. Like in Super Mario Maker 2, when you game over in a super world, you just restart from the same stage, and I think you just lose the checkpoint in that single stage. You don't even start over the world. You just start over that stage. So it's effectively meaningless, and I don't like that. I even
I
just start
mean,
over the world.
the thing is that especially with games, oh cool, we're going to the Capitol building. This is sure to go well out with what's going on right now.
I mean, I guess if the robots are going mad, then they're gonna understand it. But just barging into the Capitol building to start shooting stuff. Just,
Especially since this guy's a sniper.
well, I mean, actually, if the robot there. So is the robot supposed to be there, or did he break in?
He broke in, and he's now trying to like shoot. He basically assembled other robots to get rid of the humans in there. Of course, get rid of means run them out, because of course we can't have killing. Direct reference to killing. But yeah, so they all ran away, and so Mighty Number 8 is in the Capitol building is like, well, I'm gonna be president of this new robot world now. You can't stop me.
I mean, Beck is basically Batman. Like, no matter how bad Sniper guy is, this guy is just a vigilante that's just breaking in to stop him on his own.
Well, no one else is doing anything apparently, which
True.
is incredibly unrealistic.
Did they
But whatever.
did they reference, like, did they give a
Because
reason why the police aren't doing anything?
don't know why. Because as I said, it seems that just normal. It seems that normal non-AI systems are still working. At least unless there's something that I'm missing. Or don't remember, but yeah, just if non-AI systems are still working, then this should be an easy fix.
Yeah.
So, either way, the thing is though is that unlike Mega Man, where you can sort of argue in some way that Wily is kinda has a point, or Sigma kinda has a point, in this one, the world was peaceful, like entirely. There was there's not even any subtle things that you see in the background about like people being fearful of robots or whatever. I mean, it's been said that there was a previous incident where everything shut down before, and we'll get to that later in the story. But as for robots going insane, this hasn't apparently happened yet. And everyone seems just cool with these robots here.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to say on that front for that, especially since since the game isn't going to develop its story like traditionally at this point, it's really not it's gonna be explored later. We're just at the point of robots are bad, go solve. Also, this is a place where losing lives is horrible because Counter Shade can show up in any room, and this is just like one room filled with traps and enemies that respawn. And sometimes the traps really are designed to be gone through one way. I mean, not entirely, but it's just like some of these I'm like, okay, I really doubt you intended for this kind of challenge, specifically with the placement of how that robot was. Problem is that if you die once, you have to search for Counter Shade all over again, and also destroy, and also hit him enough times.
Yeah.
And it's a massive pain, and I am at more than a third health gone. I really don't want to do this over because I did so much damage to him before, but there's so many robots in my way. Just trying my best here. Okay, because I'm looking at the time and it's just like, do I die? Because there's technically enough time for anything to happen here. Luckily, in this place, Dynatron actually does do something to help. She cuts off the electrical wire traps in this room. And honestly, I think she's my she's my favorite of the Mighty Numbers. Mostly because it's weird. The personality she originally has. Oh man, if I had Abby's power, I could probably get those. The personality that she originally has is like psycho and filled with and just like is obsessed with energy or whatever. And she's the electric person, so you expect that to be partially part of her normal personality. But it turns out that it's kind of like, oh god, I can't look. I think I'm about to die. It turns out it's kind of like the situation with Mighty Number 1. Oh, I had to recover, cool. Where the personality was shifted drastically, and normally she's actually quite pleasant and has like a big sister kind of personality. I really, again, love the family dynamic here, and really wish that we could have explored that more. Because even with rock and roll, we barely get anything with that. I mean, in Mega Man Legends we get that because, you know, it's a bit more story-based.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like the scenes with rock and roll there. Well, not rock, but Volnut. The thing is, though, is that, unfortunately for Legends 2, which has more scenes between them and, like, other characters, I think maybe I've mentioned this before, but they changed Volnut's voice in the sequel, and he sounds like a small child. And it's just like, have you idiots not learned your lesson? After the incident of Mega Man 8, where you made Mega Man sound like a toddler girl, and then somehow decided it would be a good idea to keep the same voice actor for X in Mega Man X4. Like, who thought that was a good idea and who approved it? He's literally an older looking Mega Man. Why would you do that? The point is that in the sequel they give him just such a terrible voice. And even worse, they make it... How do I put this? It's almost like they put him as sort of a silent protagonist, sort of, in certain scenes. Basically, there's certain scenes where characters talk to him, and he just stands there and look, and the characters just keep talking. And it doesn't feel like, you know, the script was done wrong or just whatever, but it's just taken in a place where that seems more in line with a silent protagonist kind of thing. Except, no, he has established personality that has been watered down in that game to the point where he barely says anything in certain situations. And most egregious of that is the fact that the final boss is just after all the build up for like her hatred toward Volnut and everything else, and her not understanding why, well, I can't really go into the specifics, but basically she doesn't understand Volnut's mission, why he did what he did in the story, and she is dealing with both hatred for him and also the problem with her mission, where she needs to do something that Walnut won't allow, and so that will basically cause conflict between them. The problem with that is that while she's still conflicted, she is very much on the side of, yes, I need to complete my mission. And she's talking to Walnut, and Walnut, I don't even think says anything to begin with in the first cutscene. And then you fight the final boss, you basically shoot her enough times, and then suddenly she's like, I think I understand now. Like, no you don't! I just shot energy plasma balls at you, and that just gave you an epiphany? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
I mean, that's the Marvel movie way of ending conflict. Thanos says, the universe has too much people in it, my solution is to kill half the people. And the Avengers say, I am going to kill you now. And then the movie ends. And it never really says, I mean, you could argue that it's obvious that Thanos is crazy, and so it doesn't need to be explained. But it's still weird, like, it's like in Spider-Man, they never really say, hey, you know, Tony Stark was wrong for ripping off your invention, selling it as his own invention, and making fun of it. They just say, hey, you're bad, and then punch him. And then the movie ends because he's dead.
No, first they give him the goggles, because that's a brilliant idea.
Well, okay. Far From Home's a terrible movie. It genuinely, I'm hearing people, because this was before I watched Far From Home. Everyone's like, "Hey, we need to save Spider-Man from Sony. Marvel needs to get Spider-Man." And I'm like, "Oh wow!" And then I watched Far From Home. Like, "Oh wow, this is what people need saving. This is terrible." Genuinely, the last Spider-Man movie from Sony is Spider-Verse, and the last Spider-Man movie from Marvel is Far From Home. And people decided that Marvel needs Spider. I'm just completely at a loss for words.
Well, that's more of a principle thing rather than a quality thing
No,
at that point, I believe.
the movie, as in quality-wise, I also think Far From Home is terrible. Like the plot
Well, yeah,
makes no.
no, I'm saying that the people lobbying for the Marvel to keep is more of a principle thing, I believe, than a quality thing.
I
'Cause
guess, but people would be
surprisingly,
like, "Hey,
out of all of
Spider-Man,
the stuff that
Sony's treating Spider-Man so terribly, and Marvel gave finally some good Spider-Man movies." Not really. There's one good Spider-Man movie, and then there's Far From Home, and then there's a bunch of cameos. I don't know.
Well, I still wish that I've seen any of those movies because I still haven't seen Into the Spider-Verse. So
Need to get Netflix.
angry.
I mean, I don't know if Into the Spider-Verse is on Netflix, but actually, I don't know if. I'm assuming Homecoming is on Netflix, and Homecoming is fine.
What about that scene where? Well, okay, I know that's one specific thing, and we're out of time. But I guess I'll just say this. What about that one scene where just like he discovers his girlfriend's dad is the Vulture or something, and they're in the car together, and the Vulture threatens him. Why doesn't he just, punch him or do anything?
Did he know Peter was Spider-Man at that point? I actually don't remember.
Well, even if you don't know, even if he didn't know, punch him. Do something. Like he'll just think you're an incredibly strong boy for some reason.
Here's the deal. And this is something like I don't. People use this defense for Peter Quill. He's emotional, but I actually this
Oh yeah, the
defense.
person who literally ruined everything. And I'll
He's
never let that go. I still haven't seen the movie, but I know that at least.
yeah. I'm in the camp of yeah. Come on, guys. But Spider-Man, not only is he like emotionally confused, he's a child. He's like 14 in Homecoming, so it makes sense.
Still would have punched him.
I mean, like I said, the fact that he's a child makes Far From Home just completely nonsensical. But the video's done, so I can't get into that, even though I want
Uh,
to.
oh, I'm very sure you want to.